Are lingering depression symptoms affecting you? If you're on an antidepressant and still struggling with lingering depression symptoms, ask your doctor about a lift in relief with Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat major depressive disorder, MDD, in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
You know that feeling when you walk into your home, take a deep breath, and feel new? Well, that's what it's like to use Clorox Scentiva. Because Clorox Scentiva smells like coconut, cleans like Clorox, and feels like energy. It'll elevate any cleaning routine to not just clean, but also make every room smell like a tropical coconut getaway. Discover how Clorox Scentiva's powerful clean and refreshing scents can transform your space. Get yours in coconut or other fabulous scents at a nearby retail store.
Imagine relying on a dozen different software programs to run your business, none of which are connected, and each one more expensive and more complicated than the last. It can be pretty stressful. Now, imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one platform. Doesn't Odoo sound amazing? Let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. Sign up today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hey, it's Angela Yee. Searching for the perfect new lipstick? Look no further than the new Spike Valentino Buttery Matte Lip Color with 10-hour comfort and a non-drying matte finish. Spike Valentino is that girl. With gold aluminum packaging fully embossed with Maison Valentino's signature studs. And can you hear that magnetic click? Discover the 12 shades in vibrant nudes and pops of color from couture in the streets to its Valentino, baby.
Episode 442, How Our Lack of Community is Costing Us.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to Frugal Friends Podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about an interesting topic that we have talked about briefly. We've kind of like 10,000, 20,000 foot like mentioned it, but we've never dove deep into it until I saw an Instagram post from Katie Gaddy-Tassin from Money with Katie that was very well articulated in what we were trying to say about it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go through it today, and hopefully it will help you as much as we hope it will.
We have a chapter in our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, on community and relationships and kind of both sides of the coin. But this is particularly talking about how we'll buy our ways out of problems, the things where we will pay for convenience rather than leaning into community. So I'm particularly looking forward to this conversation because this is a heavy blend of mental health, social health, financial health.
This is a heavy one. When we say that money touches our whole personhood, this is the definition of that. And so even if you've been frugal for a very long time, this is definitely one that you will get a lot out of. But first, this episode is brought to you by the Industrial Revolution.
Ooh.
A cup of sugar. We all know the old adage, borrowing a cup of sugar from your neighbors. And that was once a commonplace practice. But thanks to the Industrial Revolution, we now have access to affordable modern technology like transportation, grocery stores that are open every day, and now even delivery. But all that access does come at a price. While the sugar is more accessible, all the ways we get it do cost money. So if you're feeling the pinch of a lack of community, a lack of being able to borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor, open a high-yield savings account at CIT Bank. You're going to get over 4% APY, almost 5%, with the only minimum being $100 just in there on the first time. And it doesn't have any hoops to jump through. As far as high-yield savings accounts go, we really do love it. We wish you'd use the interest you're building on it for something other than paying to have your sugar delivered. But if you do, you can thank the Industrial Revolution for allowing you to do that. frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT.
Wow, Jen.
Yeah.
You really did it.
Yeah. It's you wanna have some of the backstory and how we got to where we are. It's not just because of marketing. It's not just because of the advancements of our culture, our society, there's a lot of things that have been leading up to how we got here to where we are right now. It is not one isolated thing. But regardless, you should have a high yield savings account.
Right. Either way, that is one thing you can do for yourself individually.
Yes. So if you are really feeling the sting of, lack of community, we talk a lot about, we talk about community almost every episode. It's one of our highest core values personally, not like frugal friends, but individuals will most likely cite, a combo of these 4 things as their highest values: family, friends, faith, and fulfilling work. And all 4 of them have an element of community. It is so important to everyone. We've done a lot of episodes. You can find it in almost every episode. But I think a really good one that I like is episode 389, Creativity Over Consumerism with Miranda Anderson. Because once you start to change your mindset from how much do I have to spend on eating out, coffee, etc., and you change your mindset, just shift it slightly to how can I maximize every dollar so I can get as much of what I value as possible? It changes the way you budget. And this is an episode that's going to help you peripherally with that mindset. And we are using an article from, like I said, Katie Gaddy-Tassin called We Live in a Society. She has a very, not dry way of saying this, but just like a very straightforward way of like a writing style.
She's quite cerebral. If you follow her on Instagram, she's definitely worth the follow. She does crazy deep dives, tons of research. She helps you feel smart for sure, or maybe sometimes feel dumb if you're me. Like, what in the world is
after you read it, you feel
saying?
Smart.
Yes. If you can get through one of her long Instagram rants, you will be better off for it. This one, thankfully, is a shorter article, but really packed with some great things. And I just want to say, I love how she starts it off with telling a story. That is a good way to reel those of us in who just like, stories a little bit, and described some of the relationships that she's been building with neighbors, being able to kind of care for one another, check in on each other, just noticing this reciprocal relationship beginning to build, where she'll text and say, "Hey, I'm running later than I thought I would be. Can you let my dogs out?" Or the neighbor made some extra food and wondered if she could use some. want some dinner that week. Just kind of this thing that was evolving because they were both open to relationship with those literally in their community, not just friendships, but the people who are literally living next door to us, which can feel very scary. Like you just mentioned, the Industrial Revolution kind of helped us to solve all of our problems with money and convenience and be able to pay for those things. And it has drawn us more inward. We become more isolated. We can go days without seeing the people we live next to. But this is kind of this call to how could we might have to be even more intentional about seeing those who are next door to us and being willing to offer a lending hand or ask for help from those who are right next door to us. So that was a helpful introduction, I think, of what she's been noticing as a result of having community. Of course, we'll talk about what happens when we don't have that, what it's costing us. But I like that intro.
Yeah. The reason that this post and this article really grabbed my attention is the little favors economy that she's referenced. Apparently, there's an uptick in content hard selling the quote unquote little favors economy. So the thing is the people giving each other little favors, which is, I guess, on the rise, but has been an integral part before the Industrial Revolution, was an integral part of our well-being, our ways that we just survived, because we didn't have grocery stores that were open all day, every day. We didn't have ways to get there. And if we did, it took a while. And so we relied more on the people around us. And so the fact that this is kind of like coming back is kind of this turn on its head. We've been living, at least for the past 4 years, in kind of wanting to accept isolation or at least be okay with it. At first, because we were forced to, but now there's even, she mentions this meme where there's this, I don't know if you saw it, if you clicked the link, Jill, but it's telling someone, it's a script on how to tell someone you don't have the emotional bandwidth to care about them. So that could you take your personal crisis elsewhere or schedule a different time to need me? Which in and of itself, it's not a bad thing. But more often than not, these good things get abused and overused. And what it breeds is this culture of not just individualism, which is what our country really has been founded on, the desire to be individual, separated from a monarchy, but isolation. And I think that is the issue. And that is what these apps and all of these services have really given us, is isolation. Mm-hmm. And so I loved the way that she put a lot of this. One of the quotes from the article is, this worldview, the worldview of individualism, isolation, has framed asking for help or needing support as an inexcusable burden. Its huffy refrain is, don't be cheap. Do not ask me to take you to the airport. And so this is actually in reference to another thread. It was from a Twitter thread that's saying I will not take anyone to the airport, get an Uber. And where some people were back and forth being well, friends who love each other have no problem taking them, each other to the airport. And then other people were I don't even take my immediate family to the airport. Have you been to LAX? I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. And so it's automatically the whole thread went to these extremes, And so by going to extremes, we're creating a culture that normalizes, we don't take people to the airport, you get an Uber. Mm-hmm. When in reality, of course, if it's a really busy airport with a lot of traffic like LAX, or it's a 4 a.m. or a midnight flight, of course, we use these modern technologies to help us in situations like that. But those are the extremes. And in the middle, if you have a broader community, not just one or two friends, then you have more options for, asking for help from someone where it isn't a burden, but it is somebody is taking you to the airport on their way to work. You know, it's a little bit out of the way, but it's not a burden. And so there's a lot of nuance to this that gets lost in these extreme scenarios that we then translate into what's acceptable.
I think that's the context in which I've seen little favors, quote unquote, pop up on Instagram, is people kind of pushing back against it. Like what all these little favors are costing us and our bandwidth and what we have the ability to do and not to do, and the permission to say no and not hemorrhage your help and your kindness to other people. And I think, what we're saying here is the holding the tension of both, recognizing that there could be asks that are really putting people out, and it's worth identifying, okay, this is something that I can find a way to do on my own, versus this is just what human connection and friendship looks like. And then Katie goes on to describe this one quote, which we love as well. So I'm just going to read it for us. The fear of being a burden atomizes us, and as a result, further entrenches our reliance on something else, money. The central promise of so many apps is that they can eradicate the need to maintain relationships, look out for one another, or inconvenience yourself for the sake of a loved one for a price. And I think that this is what keeps a lot of us from asking for that help, is I don't want to be a burden. I think for the majority of us, we would be more willing to help somebody than we are to receive help. But I think if we can dig a little bit deeper and look at the connection and the reciprocity there, that if we are willing to help somebody, then that's the perspective of our friend. They are willing to help as well. And if they can't, there's opportunity to say no. I think we have gotten very good at saying no as a society.
Boundaries abound.
Exactly. I think that we don't need such a loud messaging on how to say no anymore. We've got that one down. So I think it's this little bit of give and take. And sure, sometimes it might have been too much. We might have overextended ourselves. We can learn from that, and we can learn what boundary we would need to set in place in the future. But if we're willing to give help, I think we've also got to be willing to receive it as well, and recognize that in not being willing to ask, what else is at play there? What pride, what power plays might be underneath the surface, under the guise of, I just don't want to burden somebody. But if you're thinking, I would rather just help than receive, there's something deeper that's worth looking at there.
Yeah, I love how she puts it. If you have the smallest ask, you're going to be seen as, and these are the lies we tell ourselves, you're going to be seen as needy, boundaryless, or inadequately self-sufficient. And you think your friend has every right to hit you with the I don't have the emotional bandwidth paragraph. And these are lies that we tell ourselves, that even the slightest hint of rejecting individualism, rejecting the isolation, even the slightest hint of that is we're going to be seen as the mooch friend in the group. And nothing could be further from the truth. When we have this mindset of reciprocity, like I want to help you, and I want you to be able to help me. I want to feel safe in when I ask you for help, that I'm not seen as a mooch. And if you don't have that safety with someone, then that's the case for creating a wider community, is so that you can have more people that you can have that safe relationship with. Because not everyone is going to see you as the mooch if you're not. And if everyone does see you as the mooch, the frugal, cheap mooch, if everyone sees you that way, then that's a different conversation. That's a different episode.
That means that there's not as much generosity happening in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't going to say that about somebody who's also showing up for them.
Yes.
So I think it's okay to always be asking, but also then you need to be ready to be giving as well.
Yeah.
I love this one final thought from her just around the cost of buying our way out of problems. She says, the financialization of our every move strips us of our humanity and weakens our ties. While little favors create trust and common ground, the beauty in asking for what you need is not just in the straightforward receiving of it, but in allowing other people to give it to you. We glorify individual stability and self-sufficiency, which are great, but to be human is to need so too is to give. And here you understand the writing style of Money with Katie. It is beautiful and poetic, and it's why I wanted to just read it straight up. But it's so true that when we are buying our way out of problems, it's costing us not just the money that we're paying for the convenience of that, but the lack of community and connection, which is costing us on our social health, our mental health, our relational health. All of these aspects are then going to suffer because we're not building these bonds that, again, is what makes us human to our core. We desire community.
Yeah. And marketing capitalizes on this because they want you to think first of their app instead of your community, because atomizing us as individuals means we don't think of ourselves as members of the whole, as members of an ecosystem who can give and take as we're able, but instead as competitors in a cutthroat game. And this is a little extreme. I'm reading from the article, but as competitors in a cutthroat game who need to take every chance to get ahead. And so this is obviously an extreme, case, but we see it in our lives. Everyone can name someone who really does value their time more than anyone's and will say no to the general, never give anyone a ride to the airport, even your closest family members. So if we continue to think of ourselves as individuals in isolation, that's better for these companies that sell these services.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So, buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing, and of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. oracle.com/strategic.
Managing finances can feel complex, but the Monarch Money app keeps things simple. With just this one app, you can connect all your accounts so you can budget and track your net worth all in one place.
Monarch is the top-rated all-in-one personal finance app. You get a comprehensive view of all of your accounts, investments, transactions, and more. Create custom budgets, track progress toward financial goals, and collaborate with your partner. Plus, Monarch helps you make smart money moves to get you closer to your goals. And now, get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal.
No one wants to spend hours juggling accounts or having some unwieldy spreadsheet, which is why we love how simple it is to manage our money with Monarch. After trying out Monarch myself, I understand why it's a top-rated personal finance app.
And right now, listeners of this show will get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal. That's monarchmoney.com/frugal for your extended 30-day free trial. Go to monarchmoney.com/frugal for an extended 30-day free trial.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. Maybe that's because so much of your personal information is out of your control. Like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information is vulnerable. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve identity theft issues on your behalf, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal information, but you can help protect it with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/iHeart. That's 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.
Have you boosted your business with Lenovo Pro yet? Become a Lenovo Pro member for free today and unlock access to Lenovo's exclusive business store for technology, expert advisors, and essential products and services designed just for you. Visit Lenovo.com/Lenovo Pro to sign up for free. That's Lenovo.com/Lenovo Pro. Lenovo. Unlock new AI experiences with Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors.
Are your lingering depression symptoms getting in your way? If you're on an antidepressant for major depressive disorder, MDD, and you've made some progress, but your unresolved symptoms leave you feeling stuck, it may be time to ask your doctor about Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat MDD in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Build on the progress you've already made. Ask your doctor if adding on Vraylar to your current antidepressant could help give you a lift in relief. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
All of these ideas that we're talking about, this isn't in the article, but I think I want to kind of underscore in case anybody wants to look into this a little bit more, have more things to read. We're talking about social health here, that aspect of our personhood. I think we could also talk about relational health. It's similar, how we approach community. Some other terminology attached to this is community psychology, which is our inherent need to be around others, to feel a part of something bigger. We've also got concepts of social constructivism woven throughout. This is the concept that we are shaped by others, and the way that we learn is in community. And we see this in our daily life, right? Parents teach their children. People learn from teachers. We are not learning in isolation. Even if we're at home on our computers, we're learning from someone who has written something, created a course. We are learning from other people, sharing ideas. So I think this concept of community, relationship, social health is embedded in the fabric of what it means to be human. And yet there's so much of our particular society in the United States that has caused us to kind of push against that. It's the boundaries. It's the not wanting to be a burden. It's the ability to be an individual and not need to be dependent on another person. But we want to say to aim at interdependence, not a total dependence, also not a total independence, but this radical middle of interdependence where we allow people to come in, we also give out, and thereby not just helping ourselves financially, sometimes needing to be generous with our money as a result of that when we're giving, but recognizing that all of this is going to help us as a whole, because when we help ourselves relationally and socially, we are also helping ourselves in all other aspects of our personhood. And maybe we're less likely to need to pay for convenience. Maybe we're less likely to need to pay to solve our problems because we've learned new skills out of these relationships that we've built. And we're willing to lend the ingredients in our pantry or provide the ride when needed. And what else is born out of those relationships? We can't even totally comprehend until we start to lean into it.
Yeah. And this isn't just in like consumer consumption. This is in personal finance as well. So much of personal finance is about get out of debt so you're self-sufficient. Don't give a handout because you have to pull yourself up before you can help, put your own oxygen mask on before you can help someone else. It's all about like investing so that you're self-sufficient. So much of personal finance education capitalizes on this idea of isolation, independence, setting yourself up so that you don't have to rely on anyone. And so we are pushing back on that as well, that you don't have to have the multi-million-dollar net worth or even the $1 million net worth and be completely self-reliant on just yourself. Your money does not have to cover 100%. And if it starts by getting creative with how you meet your needs. But it progresses into this idea of not like an official sharing economy, like buy nothing groups or time banks, but true relationships. Like relationships with the people around you. And I think we've had conversations about friendship relationships, but I think now in this episode, we want to also have a conversation about local relationships, i.e. your neighbors, like getting that, metaphorical cup of sugar from a neighbor. Because I remember last year when my son was in preschool, we had a meeting at his school to get us ready for kindergarten. And the thing, I was so surprised, the main reason they wanted to bring all these parents together is so that they could meet one another, because they really emphasized how important it was for your child to go to school every single day. And even if you're not able to bring them, meet these other parents, get to know where they live, and create a plan among your children, like among these parents, on how they can help you get your child to school. That was the main reason for the
I remember you talking
in-person-
about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a great idea.
And it just like solidified in my mind how important it is not just to have friendship relationships, but close neighbor relationships. It's a different type of relationship. You don't have to be best friends with your neighbors. But as a, how can we do better together? Having relationships with your neighbors is so important. We've seen it in our lives. And so how do we do that? And so we want to briefly go over a few tips from this article called 19 Ways to Connect with Your Neighbors. We are absolutely not going through all 19, but there are a few that have specifically helped Jill and I like meet our neighbors, in our own respective neighborhoods. So the first one for me is hanging out in the front yard. We have met a lot of people simply by being outside, just by standing there. So Travis, the most recent of this was last weekend. Travis was mowing our yard and another neighbor was taking a walk with his baby, and he came up and he's like, I've been trying to like meet you for months. And apparently they saw the sign that we put in our yard for Easter from our church's Easter service. And he's like, we go to that church, but we just had a baby, so we like haven't been in months. Yeah, but they live 2 blocks down from us.
Whoa, very cool.
And we were finally able to connect because they were out for a walk and Travis was mowing the front yard. And there's been so many times where we've just been outside with the kids, like, riding the bikes or letting the kids just walk around, that we have met other neighbors who are also outside, going for walks. And so they give a few ideas, like aside from just sitting in your front yard, which honestly, this is how we met so many of our neighbors at our last house too. We would take walks and just see people with a grill and a table and some beers and a cooler on their front yard instead of their backyard.
Yeah.
So having equal amounts of time almost creating your front yard as like an oasis. So they say you can set up a fire pit in your driveway, just like a temporary one. Or they say a turquoise table. Apparently this is like a national movement or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
Turquoise picnic tables. So if that's something you're familiar with, putting that in your front yard. But making your front yard a place of gathering as much as you try to make your back or side yard a place of gathering.
Yeah. Similarly, the taking walks thing. So not just sitting in your front yard, but taking walks. That for Eric and I has been huge when we've gotten to meet other people, not just on our road, but surrounding us. And it's been really hot lately, so we haven't been taking as many walks. But in the fall, winter, and spring, when we take daily walks, it has significantly, exponentially increased the amount of people that we meet. And it's not as if we stop and have long conversations. Sometimes we do, but as many of us know, there are the people who want to talk for forever, and there's the people who don't. And yes, it might cost us the time and energy. There was one day recently when I wanted to take a quick walk before starting dinner. We ran into a neighbor 5 feet out of our front door and ended up talking with them for 30 minutes. So I couldn't continue the walk. I just had to come right back inside and make dinner. But it was also really amazing to be able to connect with that person, hear what's going on for them. And sidebar, yeah, there's going to be some people in the neighborhood who aren't exactly the people who you're going to be long-term friends with. That's what we're describing here. Yes, you've got friends, but you've also got people in your community. It is good for us to be around different from who we would typically engage with. It helps us. We grow because of it. And also, you're going to get some tea. When we are walking around and talking with the neighbors and hearing about what's going on, it is better than the next door app. We live on a tiny road. There's just 20 houses on this road, and there is some stuff that goes down. And I like being in the know, okay? I like having my windows open. I like being able
to peek out her
to
windows
look at what's going
and
on.
see what's going on. I've seen this firsthand.
Yes, I have become my 80-year-old grandmother. Sometimes I wish that I could quick run for the binoculars just to find out more. It is good to be in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, and it's from these main two. So I think if you take, we're going to go through a couple more, but like if you only take away these two, going for walks around your neighborhood or just sitting outside on your front porch or your front lawn.
Even if you're not super extroverted, something's going to happen.
Something, you will be able to connect with somebody. And this has led to being able to borrow power tools from another neighbor that we don't have to buy or rent. A neighbor was able to jumpstart my car when I had both kids and my car wouldn't start. This has led to play dates, friends for my kids. This has led to so many good things, not just for my heart, but also for my wallet. Travis has been able to borrow so many things that we didn't need to buy, and we have been able to lend things.
Yeah, which is the next one on my list, the helping each other out piece. When you are so close to each other and experiencing very similar things, right? Like the same type of storm, a power outage, that kind of a thing. Being able to help one another out. Post-storm cleanup, that's a real thing for us.
We meet a lot of people. After a storm, you are going to meet your neighbors. Everyone's outside at the same time cleaning up. It's a great place to meet your neighbors.
We have helped and we've experienced help from others in helping post-storm cleanup, taking meals. I've exchanged bread and treats with various people on our road. When someone has a baby, we can take a meal to them. Others have, known important things for us and have checked in. Sometimes there's been storms where we evacuated for it, but the neighbors are sticking around and they're going to keep an eye on the house for us. And then even when it comes to maintenance projects, specifically, I'm thinking a fence we had to redo. And it was a neighborly effort with the people just on either side of us who pitched in with costs and day of labor and rental equipment to kind of clear out the shrubbery that was lining both of our sides of things. So truly, even financially, it has helped out. So it just feels good to know what's going on. We've had deaths of people on our road. We've had major surgeries happen. We've had tons of things go on that are both celebratory and tragic. And the ability to know that and be there for a neighbor, there is nothing like it. And that produces health inside of us.
Yeah. I mean, yes, same fence for us. We've had help with that. We had a neighbor across the street from our old place. When Hurricane Irma came through and put that tree down on our roof, we had evacuated to Atlanta. So we were 7-8 hours away. And she called us as soon as it happened. She's like, "Are you home?" And I was like, "No, we evacuated." She's like, "Good. There is a tree on your house," and sent a picture so that we were able, before we even left Georgia, we were able to call the tree guy, because had we waited even a few hours, then we would have maybe been waiting like a week or two to get that tree off of our house. But we were able to get it off quickly. And like literally the day after we got home, it was off. We were first in line. And we were able to, know what we were coming home to.
Yeah.
We came home in the dead of night and we knew what we were coming home to. We weren't shocked by it.
Prepared.
There's just... It's essential. And so, okay, we're homeowners, but like, what if you're not a homeowner? What if you live in an apartment? You may not be having block parties, but they give some other recommendations. You can use your pets to connect with other people in your building or around, the complex.
And people with pets know this.
Yeah.
You all gravitate to each other. You're meeting everyone with your pet.
Yes. You can also give like gifts around the holidays. So the holidays are coming up. And so maybe something small like Jill loves to propagate her plants and, find some little pots and you're giving some plant babies to your neighbors. And anytime you can start a relationship off with giving is going to be like a really good foundation. So there are still ways that you can, I would avoid like the homemade baked goods because you don't know people's dietary restrictions, but like small things, create that reciprocity atmosphere, let people around you know that you desire to know them because sometimes they're just waiting for that permission. They're waiting for permission to get to know you. They want to know if you want to know them.
I love the little neighborhood libraries that are popping up. We have quite a handful in our just little community here of just people with little cabinets outside their house, take a book, leave a book, whatever that I have personally utilized, which is awesome. But of course, also borrowing and lending tools. And you're only going to be able to do that when you go on walks, you sit outside, you talk to people, you learn of each other's needs, and you're willing to give and receive.
This is not something that's going to be so formal that you can create like a Buy Nothing group or a Facebook group. This is not formal. This involves learning about people, getting to know them, and, maybe being inconvenienced once in a while. But like it can be messy. It doesn't have to be unhealthy. Like I think sometimes we'll confuse messy with unhealthy, but it's not going to be cut and dry. There's not going to be frameworks and rules. There are boundaries, but there is very little guide to maintaining and creating these relationships that are not just essential for our financial preservation, but for our well-being. And so we hope that these gave you a few things to incorporate into your life this fall.
Yeah, just a few ideas. But speaking of something that we incorporate into our episodes every single time that is life-giving and actually lends to social health.
And I would challenge you to take, as many walks this week as we do, sharing with you the Bill of the Week.
Right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hello, Jen and Jill. It's me again. I am Mary. I am a music teacher from New York, and I called earlier this year after I realized that I had saved $290 by getting all of my books from the library. And I listened to you when you aired my bill of the week, which was very exciting, by the way. Thank you. And I thought to myself, it's been a while. I wonder how much more money I've saved since then. Let's do some calculating. So it is currently June of 2024, and I do a Goodreads reading challenge every year, so I track how many books I read, which is great. As of right now, I am at 36 books for the year, all of which have come from the library. I didn't buy any, and I did the math once again, and in the first half of the year, I've saved $700. And if I keep up at this pace, then in 1 year, by using my library, I will save $1,400. And I know that sounds like a lot of books, but hear me out. I teach pre-K through 5th grade music, and they're crazy and they terrorize me. So when I get home, I have to do quiet things to recover. Don't get me wrong. I love my students so much. They are all amazing. But they're kids, so they're nuts. Anyways, that's all. Have a good day. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, Mary, I look forward to your bills of the week now. Like, I know this is just the second one, but I want you to keep calling.
Keep us updated.
I want you to be a regular bill of the week contributor. Just like a website has regular contributors. Mary, I want you to hear this. I want you to be a regular contributor.
We are charging you with a task now.
Okay.
This is amazing. First of all, you sound so calm. In the midst of the job that you have.
You are the type of personality that can do your job. Yes. And I have a 5-year-old and a very loud 17-month-old, and they are nuts. They are, and I call them that. I was like, y'all are nutty. You're a nut. And I love you. But yeah, I get why you read. And I love the library. I recently, I know this isn't about me, but I recently bought a shirt, brand new, not used. It says, support your local library.
Yes, you did tell me about this.
Yes.
I've not seen it on you yet. But
I am a one-issue voter, I've decided, and that's my one issue is support of local libraries. That's what I've decided. I'm 35 years old, and that's the platform that I sit on.
Libraries are great, and this is an insane amount of money that you have saved,
this
Mary.
For you, Mary.
That the library has allowed you to read and enjoy some peace and quiet and maintain that sense of stability that you seem to exude despite the work you do day in and day out.
And here's the thing. We're going to say this over and over again. If you want the library to carry Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, and you're listening to this right now, we rely on you to pre-order the book, because libraries don't just carry every book, and they don't just carry every book you request, right? So they have to show that there's going to be some demand for the book, even a minimal demand. And so the more pre-orders we get, the more libraries will carry our book, so that more people in the future who need it have access to it.
It's kind of a pay it forward thing.
Yes.
It will require you to spend some money so that others can enjoy it at the library.
If you think that the message of the library and the message of values-based spending is important, I hope you'll invest in that message by pre-ordering Buy What You Love Without Going Broke at buywhatyoulovebook.com.
If you all want to submit your bill of the week, if it's like Mary's and you're just saving tons of money, or you've got a wild story about crazy kids, or your name is Bill, frugalfriendspodcast.com/Bill. We can't wait for it.
Have you boosted your business with Lenovo Pro yet? Become a Lenovo Pro member for free today and unlock access to Lenovo's exclusive business store for technology, expert advisors, and essential products and services designed just for you. Visit Lenovo.com/Lenovo Pro to sign up for free. That's Lenovo.com/Lenovo Pro. Lenovo. Unlock new AI experiences with Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors.
Are lingering depression symptoms affecting you? If you're on an antidepressant and still struggling with lingering depression symptoms, ask your doctor about a lift in relief with Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat major depressive disorder, MDD, in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
Attention parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Got a kid who's not into biking or spends too much time on screens? Then you've got to check out Guardian Bikes. Featured on Shark Tank and awarded the top kids bike in 2024 by the New York Times Wirecutter, Guardian Bikes is changing the game. What makes Guardian Bikes special? They're the easiest to ride thanks to thoughtful engineering, lightweight frames, and kid-friendly components. Kids love how fun and easy they are to ride. And parents appreciate the safety features, like the patented braking system that prevents head-over-handlebar accidents. Guardian Bikes are the only kids' bikes designed and assembled in a USA factory, ensuring top-notch quality and durability. They're built to last and make perfect hand-me-downs. Join the hundreds of thousands of happy families and get a Guardian Bike today. Visit GuardianBikes.com to save up to 25% off bikes, no code needed. Plus, receive a free bike lock and pump with your first purchase after signing up for the newsletter. That's GuardianBikes.com. Happy riding!
Time is a luxury for us, especially if you're a mom. That's why we need a skincare routine that's easy, fast, and gives us results. Plus, what if your products had thousands of 5-star reviews, were natural and affordable? Well, say hello to Dime Beauty. Dime Beauty is clean, high-end skincare that is affordable, and it really works. Not sure where to start? I highly recommend the Work System. It's everything you need in one powerful package. Take out the guesswork with a proven routine that includes a gentle yet effective cleanser, a super skin toner, 2 incredible serums, and 2 luxurious moisturizers. See what everyone is raving about. From serum sets to the always sold-out retinol alternative TBT cream, you'll find your perfect skincare match. Dime has over 2 million happy customers, and their product reviews are literally 5 stars. Love your skin again. Go to DimeBeautyCO.com for 20% off with code GETDIME. That's DimeBeautyCO.com, code GETDIME for 20% off.
Hey, it is Ryan Seacrest. There's something so thrilling about playing Chumba Casino. Maybe it's the simple reminder that with a little luck, anything is possible. ChumbaCasino.com has hundreds of social casino-style games to choose from with new game releases each week. Play for free anytime, anywhere for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And now it's time for
the lightning round. Okay. When was the last time you asked a friend for help, Jill?
Speaking of the book.
Oh, this is the vulnerability round today. We are getting in it.
Speaking of the book. Honestly, it's recently with the sale of our book, and it is very uncomfortable for
with the
me.
marketing of
the
it.
marketing of it. Yeah, trying to get people to pre-order this book. I have not posted on my personal Instagram for approximately 2 years.
Oh my
and
gosh,
before
yeah.
that, it had been 2 years. Like if you go to my Instagram, it's when Eric and I came on vacation down to St. Petersburg in 2020. Then there's a post about my nephew in like 2021. And then nothing. Until now. And I felt as though this is something I'm proud of. It's something I want to share. I know my friends would care about this, there is something that feels so, I personally, this episode is kind of personally something I need to take heed to. I do have trouble asking other people for help. Not always that I'll buy my way out of my problems. Sometimes I'll fix or elbow grease my way out of my problems.
I will just live in my problems. I will just live and sit in them.
Learn to deal. So this took a lot of effort for me, personal growth, to actually post that this book is in pre-sales. It would mean so much to us if people would buy it. Truly, a lot of the future of Frugal Friends does hinge on this. I don't mean to be doom and gloom about it. We will still podcast 100%, but mine and Jen's ability to do this as a vocation, as a career, without needing to worry about hustling hard and having so many other different jobs on the side. We are really hoping this book does well. And beyond that, we hope it helps people. We really do believe in this message. It's why we've put so much work and effort into it.
It's why we've stopped so many of our other jobs and cut our income so drastically, is because we believe so much in the content of this book.
And I think it's that realization, like recognizing that if people really knew what this meant to me to actually pre-order it, I think they would, but I have to tell them and I have to ask. And it doesn't feel great. It is uncomfortable, but I did do it. I asked people to buy, and it has been so encouraging. The message, just even the text messages that I'm receiving from people, they might not have known or they might not have discovered it right now, to say, oh, you did this thing. That's so exciting. And I can't wait to read it. And I just pre-ordered and I'm telling my friends about it. And you go. And I hope this does so well. And what it has done for me in return as well. And hopefully how I think it will help those who do pre-order and get to receive it in their hands in January. So it's uncomfortable. It feels vulnerable. People know now what I'm doing with my life, but it's good.
Yeah, you got to open up and be vulnerable.
How about for you, Jen?
So, yeah, I mean the same, but I'm not gonna repeat it. I think for me, it's been a lot of like asking the people I've met over the years, like if we can be on their podcasts or if they can connect us to people they know, and I just never. And this is probably to my hindrance because the people that are willing to ask for more help do succeed at a faster rate. But I have always prioritized relationships over what can I get from someone else. And realizing that I can have both relationships with people, but then separately, maybe with other people or even with the same people, we can have agreed upon like, how can we help each other? And so that has been such a struggle for me to call, like, to really like change my mindset and ask people for help in that. But for me, the most recent time I asked someone for help, it wasn't a friend, it was a stranger. Kindergarten has been rough, a rough start, screaming, crying, yelling, shouting every morning. And so I made the mistake. I thought maybe Kai would want to walk in with his brother. Like maybe that would help. It didn't. And so I had to carry Kai, 5 years old, and he's flailing in my arms, kicking, screaming. And the baby is now walking. And I did not plan to walk literally with the baby. He didn't have shoes on. So he's walking the grounds of this elementary school barefoot. And like, I can't even hold his hand because A, he won't hold my hand, but B, kicking wildly as the kindergartner in my arms. And so this stranger mom sees me struggling and she's like, do you want some help? Like, can I watch the baby? And I was like, yes, please. So I just take Kai in to the guidance counselor because that's who I have to drop him off with now because he's become he's gotten to that point, and dropped him off. And the guidance counselor is like, do you want to walk him back to my office? And I was like, my baby is with a stranger right now, like outside. I got to go get my baby. And she's like, gives me this worried look, but she was just. So I walk outside and this woman is just like standing with my baby. She hasn't touched him. And I told her, I was like, you can pick him up if you want, if you need to. Like, he didn't have shoes on. It was a hot mess. And last time I ever brought the baby like with me to pick up for sure.
Yeah.
But like this woman just taking time out of her morning to stand with my baby, my toddler really, and just be the village.
But that's the thing. Why can't we normalize that? Hot take on hot mess is hot mess just because we're trying to do it all ourselves and we think that it should look so polished and clean. But really, we were meant to have more hands on deck, more help than this. And so it's just life when you don't have community and people there to help you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what life looks like. So normal life is just someone who's there able to keep an eye on your kid because you don't have 15 arms and 3 sets of heads and all of the things.
Yeah, I really believe our children need another parent, like a third parent. They really do.
Someone to make the money, someone to make the food, someone to watch the children.
Yeah, we really need to
someone
be a
to
3-parent household.
I think it's more than that. I think
at least
communal living. That's what's next.
Yeah. That's a different episode we could talk about. But.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And thank you also for your kind reviews like this one who comes from Bueller37. It says, super fun, 5 stars, great to listen to, fun and informative. That's it. Short and sweet from Bueller37. And that's all we need.
So much.
Is reviews like that.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to leave a rating and review. It helps potential new listeners know what our show is all about.
See you next time.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
I got bananas off my banana plant. Did I tell you about this already?
Is that what all those bananas are
all
from?
Those bananas are from my own property.
You grew those.
Well, the ground grew them and I was here for it.
Yes.
Watched out my window with my binoculars.
What a great perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they have finally ripened. I enjoyed my first banana from my property 4 years after moving here. And it tasted banana. It tasted exactly banana, which is great.
All you can ask for.
Because I was really expecting other than
Gross.
banana. I was expecting, I don't know, but not this. They're pretty tiny and slim, which is very fun. It feels miniature world. But they still taste exactly banana.
Wow.
Yeah.
How exciting.
It is so exciting. It's so wild though, because it really didn't take any work from me. It grew and then I sliced it off and it was exhilarating. But the amount of bananas, it's a big banana bundle. And I think I got about 6 to 7 kind of bundle size, like what you might get at the grocery store again, but the bananas are a bit smaller. Mm-hmm. And so it's wild to realize like bananas are so inexpensive. This probably would have cost like $3 at the grocery store. Like this amount of bananas would have been $3. Oh, but there is nothing like getting it off the land.
But if a big banana disease comes, then all the bananas are gone and you'll still have a banana tree.
Unless the banana disease hits my bananas. I'm not protected from banana disease.
But you're not near a banana farm.
That's true.
So, it usually will just stay around all the bananas there.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll be able to keep up with my bananas.
I love that.
Whenever they produce one bundle every year.
Yeah. But those bananas will taste so much sweeter.
Yeah. But now they're all starting to ripen at the same time. So it's like, how do I keep up with this? Is not the amount of bananas I would ever buy from the grocery store. So
banana bread.
We all know you can make some banana bread. Mm-hmm.
Lucky Land Slots, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Kroger brand products have the great taste you'll celebrate. That's why over 40 million people choose Kroger brand products, making them a true crowd pleaser. And with quality guaranteed, you'll love your choice or get your money back. Score Kroger brand products with savings you can cheer for and great taste you can't resist. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Every day, our world gets a little more connected, but a little further apart. But then, there are moments that remind us to be more human.
Thank you for calling Amica Insurance.
Hey, I was just in an accident.
Don't worry, we'll get you taken care of.
At Amica, we understand that looking out for each other isn't new or groundbreaking. It's human. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
With Amex Platinum, you can really be in the now. Access to Resi Priority Notify. Yes! 4 p.m. checkout with fine hotels and resorts booked through Amex Travel.
We needed this.
And dedicated card member entrances at select events.
Let's go!
Means you can focus on the present moment. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Card member entrance access not limited to Amex Platinum Card.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand, it's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at zerofoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products, it's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.